Okay, so here's some real notes that you need to make sure that you have written down and that you understand completely, because this is going to be a definite piece of knowledge that you're going to need to know for the next set of questions for linear modeling. There is a major difference between finding f of 0 and finding the 0 of f. And understanding what the question is asking for is super imperative for you to be able to answer it correctly. When they're asking you to find f of 0, what they're essentially doing is asking you to substitute 0 into the function. That is going to elicit an answer to the question. And the answer could turn out to be 0, or it could be a whole other number. This right here is called the y-intercept. When you substitute 0 into the function and come out with a value, that will be your y-intercept coordinate. Conversely, when you look at what is the 0 of f, what they're asking you to do is find out what value of the function makes the solution 0. What value of x in the function makes the solution 0? And what they're actually doing is you would want to set the function equal to 0 and solve. In which case, what you are doing is you are finding an x-intercept. An x-intercept is another way of saying 0 of f. Okay, so an x-intercept is in the form x-coordinate, comma 0, whereas a y-intercept is in the format 0, comma y. Lastly, as far as you know, a y-intercept is where it crosses, where the graph crosses the y-axis. And sometimes they call that the vertical axis. And then the x-intercept crosses the x-axis. And they also call that the horizontal axis. The next question that for vocabulary knowledge that you need to know is, how can you tell if a function is linear or not? By looking at the actual function rule. And obviously, if it's in y equals mx plus b form, that's going to be an indication that it's linear, but not all of them look that simple and pretty. So how do you tell if a function is linear or not? Basically, what has to happen is the variable for x, or whatever your f of is, it could be f of t, f of h, whatever the variable is in question, the independent variable, this one has to be next to or on top of a fraction or constant. For instance, you can have f of g equal to g plus 5 over 8, in which case this is, yes, this is a linear function because your g, your independent variable g, is in the top of the fraction. It has to be on the top. It has to be in the numerator. If it looks like this, where you've got x, oops, that's supposed to be an h, excuse me, h over 6 minus 7, this is, yes, this is a function, a linear function, because it's in the numerator or next to. But if you have this one, this is the no. If you've got f of r equals 6 over r minus 11, and the r is in the denominator, this is not linear. So it could be next to, like mx plus b, or on the top, but it cannot be in the denominator. If it is in the denominator, it is not linear. Something else.